There's a special place in the hierarchy of education for HBCU institutions for educating its black students when at one time it was illegal to do so. If you've never been to or visited a black college, you've missed out. Nothing is the same on an HBCU campus, just like in black culture. And in the South, football is the king. The supporters, fans, alumni, family, and boosters come together in a special environment, oftentimes partying activities starting on Friday, and many times on Thursday nights, and sometimes even on Wednesday. Foods are being marinated, cooked, and prepared. Welcome you to Insights. It's been a long time getting you on. I know Earl Hankerson, who moves a little slow with a lot of things. He was working real hard to get you on Insights so that we could talk to you.
He was. So no, we appreciate being here. And as you mentioned, Earl, he was working real hard. And I know when we got here, we hit the ground running. So it's a blessing and a curse in this thing. We've been able to slow down and definitely catch up with some people. Well, Mr. Gosha, one thing for sure, you hit the ground running, you better not slow down. No doubt. No doubt. You know, and even now when you came and the things you were faced with has changed, the whole climate has changed. Yeah. And now you have to reevaluate just everything, not even from just an athletic point, but from an institutional point of view. Yeah, absolutely. It's you know, I've kind of explained to several people, not only has it changed our strategic plan in the short, because there were some challenges that we walked into, but I think long-term institutionally, the way that we do business will now change. You know, when you think about some of the guidelines and things that are going to be byproducts of COVID-19. So it has definitely kind of thrown us, you know, it's thrown us a curveball, but it's brought a little junk with it. So, you know, we're just trying to figure that out. But, you know, I'll say this, my staff and our student athletes and coaches have been phenomenal through this, and they've been positive. We've had to make adjustments, and you know, we've been able to do that, and without any major, you know, programmatic changes, and that's the goal right now. Well, let me comment on what you just said in terms of your staff. It's been pretty much unprecedented in FAMU athletics to allow somebody what you've been able to do in terms of bringing in your own staff. It's been a long time since somebody has been able to do that, and that might be all the way back to Nelson Thompson in 1986. And at that time, he probably had the largest entourage in the history of FAMU athletics. And as time went on, those positions got cut, moved, or whatever, and from where he might have had 9, 10 different people working as a part of his administrative team, it's dwindled down. Sometimes it seemed like it was just 2 or 3. So I just think it's been unprecedented that you've been able to bring in some of your own people to work for you. And at least you know where their loyalty lies. Absolutely. Well, you know, and I was very frank and transparent on the front end of this. You know, FAMU, we are a special brand, especially when you talk about historically black colleges and universities. You know, we are a hidden gem. And one of the things that we really needed were subject matter experts in their space. And it was important to me to bring that to the table. I've been blessed to have tremendous experience in a lot of different things. However, you know, it was important, you know, with some of our financial challenges that we had a person who managed finances at a Power 5 level, at a mid-major level, and then quite frankly in the private sector. You know, money is a sensitive subject. You know, when people give you their money, they want to make sure it goes where it's supposed to. You know, when you have resources, you need to make sure that they align and allocate. And so having people to do that, having people that go out and solicit money. You know, you've seen the Rattler Athletic Fund, and there's you know, some of the individuals, Keith McClooney, my deputy athletic director, and Ron Reeves, you know, they're kind of behind the scenes pulling a lot of strings to make some of these things that are what we call front facing operate. And, you know, it was very important. If we wanted a chance to be the special institution that we know we are and to do the things that we have to do, then it was key that we brought in subject matter experts. And it has been unprecedented here, and I'll be honest with you, there's been some fallouts because, it's not Rattlers, and I think the vision that we've casted is to say, look, we've done it this way for a long time and it haven't really served us well or hadn't taken our program to the next level. Let's give this a taste. And, my experiences, I've done it at the mid-major level. I've done it at the FCS level. I'll never forget 2008, I was at Jacksonville State University. We turned really that football program around and did some things on the facility front. We had APR issues. And 3-4 years later, they're playing for an FCS national championship. But the success of that football program created a byproduct that now your baseball, your softball, your basketball 2 years ago went to the NCAA tournament for the first time in institutional history, et cetera. And so it's a process. It doesn't happen quickly. And for some people, it's uncomfortable. And, that's really the challenge as an athletic director that we've taken on. But there's nothing like FAMU love. And I think people have really embraced the transparency. First couple of times when we said, we're going to do this and we're going to do it on this date, I had so many people say, you ain't doing that on that date. You're not doing that. And the fact that we deliver. And so I would say I've earned my street cred in some circles here in the short time.
Well, please understand that you're going to have to keep earning it.
Like us on Facebook.
I liked it on Facebook.
Follow us on Twitter. INSiiGHTS.
Yeah.
2 I's in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
All right, y'all.
Hi, I'm Joe Lamar, the sports director at WCTV.
Hey everybody, I'm Allison Posey, sports director at ABC 27 in Tallahassee.
I'm Charlie Ward, the head basketball coach at Florida State University School, aka Florida High.
Hello, I'm Mark Feely, the athletic director at Leon High School.
Hi, this is Coach Tyrone McGriff from Florida High School.
Hello, I'm Ricky Bell, Director of Athletics for Leon County Public Schools.
Hello, I am Judge Anthony Miller, Circuit Judge for the 2nd Judicial Circuit.
I'm Congressman Al Lawson of the 5th Congressional District.
My name is Derek McGee, and I'm the Deputy Director of Athletics and Chief Financial Officer at North Carolina Central University.
Hi, I'm Sheriff Walt McNeil.
Hi everyone, I'm Chelsea Johnson, the head girls basketball coach at Godby High School.
Congratulations.
I would like to say congratulations.
Congratulations.
I want to personally congratulate.
I want to congratulate.
I just want to congratulate.
Congratulations.
Congratulate.
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 I wish you good luck in all your future endeavors.
Absolutely.
Rattlers are a special breed, and the one thing about it is that we are typically able to respond to almost any adverse situation.
Absolutely.
It's how we are culturally built as we come through the hill and raining and having to get to class and being in the dorm and betting on who's going to make it down the hill without falling. So, I mean, we kind of know how that goes, and we kind of go as the football team goes. As the football team is more successful, it makes it a lot easier to be able to raise money and get people behind the program.
Absolutely.
But one thing that we do know, but through so many changes over the years, when the change comes, we do know that there's going to be administrative changes every time the president changes, because they tend to bring their own people and want their own teams around them. And everybody kind of expects it. You need to be able to pick up and continue. Because the one thing I have to give you credit for that Earl Hankerson blows his horn all the time about is how you are on social media. And we are seeing a whole different level of information and things that are going on social media, and the athletic graduation was excellent production. Now, my only comment, and you know, because I'm not always completely on the 100% support side, when I got to figure out how we're going to take that and turn that into dollars. So that's
Absolutely.
Earl and I fight. You know, and my thing is that I love social media and what it allows you to do in terms of programmatically highlighting what you do. But the negative of that is that people then tend to think that it's free.
Absolutely.
And they get caught up with receiving things free. But you have to be able to turn those same ideas that you have now created a market and an inventory to sell. You got to be able to turn that into money for yourself.
Absolutely. So I'll talk about that a little bit, you know, and we've been able to monetize it, and I'll share kind of our internal operations of that. But you're right. We have to be out there publicly, because there is a demographic that's how they're engaged. That's how they do business, is what they see on social media. You know, they don't want the 2-page letter in the snail mail. And we do have a demographic who that's the only way that they respond, is what I get in the mail is how I'm going to support, et cetera. And so we have loyalties to both of those. But really, as we look at the future and you look at intercollegiate athletics, and I'm coming from a Power 5 institution, I've also been at mid-majors, that is the new wave. And for our ability, you know we have a demographic, and let's just talk Tallahassee. You know, we may have 10, 15,000 rattlers here in Tallahassee. However, with the click of a button, we can reach 30, 40,000 people. And so I'll use Set Friday. You know, we had this big teaser, you know, probably 2 weeks into COVID. And I'll give you the cliff notes of that. One of my student athletes was really, really struggling, who actually, you know, had some issues with isolation. And one of the things that student athlete said to me was, you know, if we can just have a sense of normalcy, we can get through this. And so it's like 2:00 in the morning. I start emailing my staff. You know, I'm like, hey, we got to do something normal. And I'm thinking about throwing a Set Friday. And they're looking at me like, you lost your mind. You know, like, you know, everybody's trying to figure out this new world, you know, who's okay, who's not. And you talking about throwing a Set Friday.
I was one of them.
Yep. And I said, all right, well, you know, put it out there. And, you know, we kept it top secret. You know, everybody thought it was conference realignment or new facility project. And to some degree, we kind of wanted to create that cliffhanger. But what it did was, for an entire week, everybody in this country, I got phone calls, texts, our president, everybody wanted to know what in the world was FAMU Athletics doing. So that means they visited our social medias, they visited our website, people renewed their tickets, that quite frankly, FAMU wasn't on their mind until this came up, okay? Then on top of that, in a 24-hour period, we had over 80,000 views of the video, okay? All right? Flip side of that, we actually came out of the Set Friday with almost $10,000 in new donations for alumni, people who maybe wanted to attend FAM, said, you know what, this feels good. I needed this uplift in life. Or I remember my time on the Hill at Set Friday, and thank you, athletics, for doing this. And so I think it's really a shift in our strategy. But ultimately, everything that we do as an athletic department, I think one of the end goals will be, how do we monetize it and strategically use this to the advantage of how we move forward, you know? So that's one of the examples.
But that's a great response, because I was one of those, and I told Earl, I was like, we doing a what? we doing a what? And I was on Earl about it. But the one thing that I want to say is that as I was talking, and you didn't cut me off, my mind lapsed and I forgot to finish the story I started. But as the new administration comes on and you hire your staff, I think each administration has the opportunity, or should have the opportunity, to pursue their path of trying to get it corrected and to get it down the right path. That's the same thing with you and your staff, with Dr. Robinson and his staff, that each time we take it, you brought in You got a certain level of expectations on you, which we haven't even touched.
Right.
A certain level of things that you have to do that we have not done in a while, and maybe never in some cases. So because your idea might be different from what somebody else's is, you at least should have that opportunity to try.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Coach, that's the beauty of the whole situation that AD Gosha has been able to bring to the table, is something new and innovative that we haven't seen before, because frankly, what we've been doing hadn't been working all the time. So you need to try something new and different, and to get it out there in front of the people and see some of the fruits of the labor.
Right. And to that point, I'm very selective, obviously, because I do know, those who came before me, I think, had a passion for FAMU athletics. But what I challenge people to do, and if you look at the landscape of intercollegiate athletics, from an NCAA perspective, you're getting new legislation daily. Rules change, the game changes. How the game is even played in some sports has changed. Football, basketball, all of these different type of rules. And one of the things that I think we've been slow to as an institution to adapt to are the changes, the rules of engagement, okay? And so normally we're, a day late, and sometimes in some categories $1 short. And so as our administration, moves forward and leads, we have to be on top of those decisions as the game and the industry changes. We have to change with it. And otherwise you're going to be left in the past, and the old practices won't work in the new landscape. And I think that's one of the things that we've done a really good job. I get it all the time. Jesus, you've done a lot in 4 or 5 months, because that's what it requires. In some categories, we're behind the 8 ball. And so just to catch up to our peers, we've got to do these things. We've got to do them quick. And the other piece of that is there is a cost to do business. I think this has probably been the institution that I've been at who's probably had the most passionate fan base. Again, I've been at University of Miami, Middle Tennessee, Jacksonville State University, but this is the most passionate fan base I've ever been a part of. But it's been a learning curve for us as an administration, because, okay, what works for our base? What are they, what are they going to fall in love with, and what are they going to do to jump on board? But then it's also been a reciprocal education for them, because the days of just buying a ticket and think that supports an athletic department, that is no more. The rules of the game have changed. And, we talk about Florida State across the track. That's an entirely different league. Okay, it really is. I'm comparing us to other HBCUs and saying, hey, we're not even close. If we look at Alabama State and their investment to their facilities, it's because their people are doing more than buying just a ticket to the game. And
they also sued the state of Alabama.
And that's a part of it. And that's a part of it. But again, and the list goes on, and the list goes on. But we have to do things strategically to move us forward and to keep us relevant within our peer group. We're always going to be superior athletically. We're always going to be the class of whoever we're playing, wherever we're playing, whenever we're playing. I'll never forget the first time I had my FAMU track jumpsuit on and walking through the Atlanta airport. I mean, I was like, I felt like a celebrity because it was almost like every time you turn around, you're running into a Rattler. And that's a good thing. And so we just got to find a way to strategically place that brand in a position to take it to the next level.
That, we've had meetings in the past. We had president who met with Troy State's president. They made each one of the programs play each other because they said we were so close together. We should be playing each other anyway because it was a natural rivalry. Mm-hmm. Troy wanted us to go Division I when they went Division I. Gave us all their information they had. They said, we got a natural rivalry. He said, but even bigger than that, he said, you have something we don't have. Florida A&M is a brand that everybody knows. Everybody knows who Florida A&M is. They don't know who Troy is. And then another time we met with the Athletic Director at Georgia Tech. He said, those FAMU people, he said, they come to Atlanta, they blow you off the highway coming to the Atlanta Classic. The way they follow that program, he said. So you got to make sure that you market your brand because you have a brand like no other. I mean, and that's from at the time one of the Power 5 schools. So we have a brand. We just have to make sure that we do what we need to do to help enhance that. I think your social media platform is excellent. I'm really nervous just about the school and where we are with COVID-19 and getting the students in, and not just us. I mean, it's national, and some of the other schools that are saying that they don't start school till January. There's schools that are furloughing people today.
Yeah,
some that started effective May 1st, and I'm afraid for our institution if we survive as a school, and I'm just worried, because athletics, we have our own issues, but right now, the issues of the school supersede what we have.
So I'll say something on that piece of it, and I'll say we're built for this, and institutionally, to your point earlier, you said that we are used to really overcoming any type of adversity because of who we are and our makeup. And I stand firmly today, with the uncertainty. Yes, it's like a punch in the gut. It has definitely affected us in a variety of ways. But I definitely think that we'll be stronger on the other side of this. To be frank, as an athletics department, we are already so lean that we've been fortunate that we haven't had to go through a series of furloughs or layoffs, because to be honest, there's nothing to furlough or lay off.
No fat on the bone.
Yeah. And so, yes, we're going to have to make some adjustments in the way that we do business. There's some byproducts, but as I've had interviews and virtual town halls and things, and receiving notes and emails, I think people's affirmation and solidarity to athletics in particular, because it's such a beacon of hope for the institution. When people think about the fall, the first thing that comes to their mind is, we're going to have football, we're going to have homecoming, we're going to have the 100. And so it may be different, but I think that there's a commitment to excellence here, and to make sure that we can still use our athletic programs as that beacon that really leads our university and be the front porch that it is. And so, like everybody else, we've got to make some adjustments, and we pay coaches to make adjustments suddenly, and I was talking to Coach Simmons this morning, and I said, hey, we got to be focused. We got to line up and run power and march the ball down the field and get a first down, and that's going to be the process. I wish we could throw the Hail Mary and fix this, but it's probably not going to be a scenario like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know that there's a lot of meetings that's going on administratively at very high levels, institutional-wise and with the Board of Governors. And, a lot of it will be handed down to you in terms of what you can and can't do. And the negative on it is, for your lack of experience in some areas, everybody's in the same spot with this. Nobody has ever dealt with this. So you not really knowing, nobody else really knows.
Correct.
Must have been in this spot.
Correct.
So on that, just continue to be creative. For example, if we end up having, and I know you think about all the various scenarios, if you end up playing football without a crowd, then you're going to have to go to pay-per-view, and everybody's going to have to pay a ticket that's going to have to be more than $5, and you have to be able to do some other things with the FAMU production that everybody else doesn't have. Because if you play Southern's going to be doing the same thing for their fans. We'll be doing it for ours. But then we add things to it with the 100. We add special things on there that by paying for our telecast, our live stream is better than anybody else's because of what we implement and put in it. So a lot of times, it's just like I would always tell people when I was a coach, is that even when you're in an adverse situation, heroes are born every day from being able to come out of those situations. From being down 20 points and it's 6 minutes to go, and how you come back and win.
Absolutely.
How you win 4 games in 5 days and go to the NCAA tournament. That is how our school is built. That's how we're going to have to do things as an athletic department, and you and your staff are going to have to lead everybody in the way that you've been doing.
Absolutely. Yep.
You know, Earl of Pearl, anything else you'd like to ask this overworked gentleman?
I was going to ask him, what's the latest with some of the initiatives that he has implemented, such as the Rattler Athletic Fund and things of that nature?
Yeah. So, I'll talk a little bit about the Rattler Athletic Fund, and, it was a new flavor, and everybody's trying to figure out, well, what is it? And, how does it work? And ultimately, it will be the official philanthropic fundraising arm of the athletic department. And so I got a lot of questions. Well, how does that work with the boosters? Okay, well, we'll talk about that. The boosters is our official direct support organization to athletics. And so we work in concert. The initiatives that the boosters will move forward, and obviously there's a base that's loyal to the boosters. Every dollar that's raised to the boosters comes directly to the Rattler Athletic Fund. And so there's synergy in everything that we're doing. And we want to be transparent. The Rattler Athletic Fund is a way that we can activate and get people to donate online. We can do specific gifts. We do payroll deductions. You name it, we can do it through this initiative. And so if you look at intercollegiate athletics, it's a standard. It's an industry standard. You go to FIU, they have the Panther Fund, et cetera, et cetera. And so it's really just a mechanism to really go above and beyond, the normal expectations of an athletic department. Because I'll tell you, people don't want to give to keep the lights on. People like to give to a vision and a strategy. And that's what we're going to do. And in short, we, as part of our 1887 Strikes campaign, which was successful, and athletics was a part of that, we showed and released a glimpse of a vision, and it's going to start with the field house. The conditions of our football field house probably hadn't changed since you were coaching, and, it was one of the first things that's absolutely unacceptable to me. I don't get into whose fault it was. When you sit in that chair, it's yours now. And so we're not going to stand idle. Yes, COVID-19 hurt us. It is. But we're going to march this project forward, because I know there's enough Rattlers out there that care, who want to do it, and want to provide our students and our coaches the resources they need to lift up a national championship trophy. And that's what it's going to take.
Go ahead. Go ahead. The amazing thing about that is at the time that the field house was built, that probably was the most state-of-the-art facility of all HBCUs.
Mm-hmm.
And we definitely have been surpassed in that aspect. And we've been seeing on social media some of the things that are going on with regards to the locker room, weight room, et cetera, with the facility. Can you give us some updates on how that is, how that's going so far?
Absolutely. So, we're still in our fundraising efforts to do so, which is one of the reasons the renderings came out. But to your point earlier, we mentioned it, institutionally, we have been one that hasn't really stayed on top of the industry trends. And so because of that, we find ourselves today probably 10 years behind a lot of our peers, even at the HBCU level from a facility perspective. And so now we're calling attention to that. We're telling Rattler Nation, our most loyal supporters, hey, every dollar counts. It really does. And, very similar to COVID-19, we're not going to throw a Hail Mary and be able to fix this. We're going to have to line up and get some first downs, and we're starting with the locker room. We're going to do the locker room. We're going to, we're going to do the training room, the medical spaces. We got to get weight equipment. Our weight room equipment, again, we're holding it together with tape and everything else. And so those aren't the type of resources that, quite frankly, aren't going to keep a championship coach here, no matter how much you pay them. All right. But then two, you're talking about recruiting. I'm a millennial, and quite frankly, the kids that we're recruiting today, they want to know, okay, where am I going to be? Where's the facility that I'm going to participate in, et cetera. And so if you take a kid to our facilities today, and then you take them to, and I'm gonna use Prairie View A&M because that's where we stole our head football coach from. I think we lose. And to be frank with you, we lost about 6 kids this recruiting cycle simply because they said my high school facilities are in better condition than this. And so that's a reality. It's a fine line because you want to make sure that you're not, being disparaging to your own institution. But at this point, we have to start telling where we are and then cast the vision for where we're trying to go. Because we can do this. I've done it at FCS institutions with a lot less. And so, I'm not, I harp on the fact that, hey, I don't tell people what I think. I tell them what I know. And so we can do this. The method to do that is to give and to support the Rattler Athletic Fund. We're going to do it in short order. We're going to be able to renovate this football field house and give our coach an opportunity to be successful because that's what it takes. As AD, that's going to come in a variety of different ways. It's going to come from what I call the slot machines, those individuals who can put a couple pennies and a couple, quarters in, and then it's going to come with some people who can give us a few dollars, and there's going to be a few people who can give us a Brinks truck. And so, when all those things align, those are the things that take your department to the next level.
Well, one of the things you said was about the high school programs, and INSiiGHTS does the game of the week, and we travel from Central Florida to the Panhandle into Georgia doing a high school game of the week, and it was really kind of sad sometimes to see much their credit that some of those high school facilities were as good as they were, and then we look at what we have at home, and we knew instantly that was going to be a problem recruiting some of those kids when they had those facilities that we're looking at with our eyes that are nicer and better than what we have at our institution. And one of the things you said earlier was about some of the facilities we have and then being 10 years behind. Maybe you could explain to some of our viewers a little bit how the state does that, because the state will give you money for a new building, but after that, it's up to the school.
Great. So yes.
Budget to do
Absolutely.
it,
Absolutely.
You fall behind real quick. And so, it's a matter, even with the gymnasts and the glorious background that you have behind you, you still have to upkeep, and just because we got it new doesn't mean the lights don't go out, or the lights that we've used when we built the facility are outdated, and different things that you have to do in there to keep it looking as good as it does. And, we haven't put even Band-Aids on Bragg. So,
right.
The schools are left to do that. So I think, could you explain that a little bit? Because I think the average listener or viewer doesn't understand how that works.
So I'll say this, I think it starts with a point of pride, so everything that we have, understanding that there was a lot of sacrifices made to make those things happen. And so we've got to take internal pride in everything that we have. We talked about this facility, our basketball facility, and making sure that we take care of things, okay? So it starts there. But the second piece of it is at the state level, and this is, a very complex equation, but in the state of Florida, we are prohibited from the use of essentially institutional funds beyond student fees to support athletics. That's every institution in the SUS system. So that's definitely complicated when you start talking about, building a multi-million-dollar facility and or maintaining it, because those are these are real dollars that it takes to do it. And so one of the things that we're trying to do is that's part of the task of the Rattler Athletic Fund, is because we do have to bring something to the table. And there's a variety of reasons why we have to, but that's just the cost of doing business. And so, it does put us strategically at a disadvantage when you compare us to some of our peers outside of the state of Florida who do have some of those flexibilities and latitudes. And so that piece is critical. It's challenging when you don't have the institution who can support you, and that's one of the reasons why our facilities are as dated as they are. I don't think it's a lack of want to. I think it's really the lack of being able to bring the strategic plan and being able to execute it. Because me as the athletic director, I can have a million plans, but if we don't have the support of our fans, donors, institutional alignment, they'll never work. And, you know, again, back to one of your earlier points, that's the reason why Dr. Robinson has been committed to us making the appropriate changes, you know, from a leadership perspective and then supporting those. He's been a great, you know, advocate and supporter of the direction we need to go. And that's kind of where we are.
Well, for sure, we appreciate you taking the time to meet with Insights on HBCU Sports. We typically stay in our lane with high school sports. From time to time, we kind of venture into different areas on HBCU sports, HBCU football, because of relationships we have and opportunities to bring some information to the general public that they might not have known about otherwise. And we appreciate you being at our alma mater, providing some of the leadership that you've done and coming on and talking with us and, you know, in all transparency with no discussion over, don't ask me this, don't ask me that, it's not going that. I mean, you just came, the first time I've ever talked to you. Earl has talked to you before, and we just talked. And we appreciate you taking that time to be able to come here and do this with us.
No doubt. Coach, I appreciate it. And anytime we look forward to obviously making this a common event. And Earl, you know, I appreciate you kind of bridging the gap. And to your point, you know, it's what Rattlers do. And you know, I want to be an advocate for all HBCUs to talk about how special we are. Now, we're going to lead the way in that. But, you know, we want to make sure that we can continue to talk about the mission, the goals, the how we get there. Because I do believe that we have a fan base and a support base that's been starved for that vision. And so I'm honored and grateful to have the opportunity to serve on the highest of 7 hills and to represent so many of you all.
Hey, Coach, before we let AD go, with all of that in mind, we want to challenge all of our Rattlers, alumni, near and far. We want to challenge those that are not Rattlers as well to contribute and support our athletic director and our athletics programs. And with that, AD Insights is going to make a donation today toward those efforts. So
we appreciate it.
By the time this is uploaded, there'll be something else that we can add to the pot.
No doubt. Well, we certainly appreciate it. Every dollar matters.
And we'd like everybody to be aware that this Friday, the Dr. Arthur Woodard Academic Student of the Game recognition event will be on. It'll be on virtual and live streamed at 6 o'clock on Insights TV YouTube. Please go and show your support to these outstanding area student athletes that are basically honor roll students. For those kids that we'll look to see play in the future and be our future doctors, coaches, lawyers, and engineers, there's so many opportunities, so many things that happen that we publicize the negative. Insights is recognizing those that have done something positive. AD, would you like to say something to those student athletes?
Absolutely. You know, we commend you guys for your effort and dedication to what you do. Keep up the good work. You know, keep striking from the top. And you know, we just celebrated 30 of our senior student athletes in a virtual graduation, and so you know, it's tough to celebrate these moments in the social distancing, but so very proud of their accomplishments and continue to do the good work.
Stay up to date with the latest from Insights. Visit our website at insights.com. 2 I's in the middle, INSiiGHTS.
Insights is the copyright of Mac4 Enterprises, a Florida corporation. This broadcast is produced under the exclusive ownership of Mac4 Enterprises and is the intellectual property and trademark of Mac4 Enterprises. Comments of the host and other individual speakers on Insights represent the independent thoughts and representation.